Yeah, what's happening?
Not much. You seen any, gang members around?
Me? I ain't seen any gang members. You see any gang members?
In 1988, a movie came out that parents, teachers, and politicians said would get kids killed. They said it glorified gang life. They said it would start a war. They were wrong. Colors didn't glorify anything. It showed a world most of America didn't even know existed, and it launched careers that shaped Hollywood for the next 4 decades. But one member of this cast wouldn't live long enough to see any of it. Let's start with the hot-headed rookie who lit the match. Shaun Penn was already a known talent, but his role as the volatile rookie cop Danny Pac-Man McGavin cemented his status as one of Hollywood's most intense leading men. As a member of the CRAS unit, Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums, McGavin was arrogant, aggressive, and tragically naive. Penn delivered a masterclass in controlled chaos, playing an officer who believed force was the only language the streets understood. The film's writers even modeled the character on real officers they'd shadowed.
After Colors, Penn's career went supernova. He didn't just become a star, he became a cinematic force, known for total immersion. He won his first Oscar for Best Actor in 2003's Mystic River, then did it again just 5 years later, transforming completely to play activist Harvey Milk in Milk. And just this year, Penn won his 3rd Academy Award, this time for Best Supporting Actor, for his villainous turn as Colonel Lockjaw in Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. That 3rd win ties him with Jack Nicholson and Daniel Day-Lewis for the most acting Oscars ever won by a male performer. Beyond acting, Penn has built a formidable career as a director, with acclaimed films like Into the Wild. And he's known for his outspoken political views and hands-on humanitarian work. Now in his mid-60s, Shaun Penn continues to be one of the most compelling and uncompromising figures in Hollywood, a true artist who has never shied away from a challenge. But Colors was the film where that intensity first felt dangerous, and it still does. In one of his earliest and most electrifying roles, a young Don Cheadle played Rocket, a key member of the Crips. Even in a supporting role, Cheadle's intensity was undeniable. A young man so entrenched in the cycle of violence that he couldn't see a way out. What I want you to notice if you rewatch this film is Cheadle's eyes. He was so young, but there's already something happening behind his performance that most actors twice his age couldn't pull off. You can see a guy who isn't just reciting lines, he's living inside this character. And knowing what his career became, you can spot it here. The talent was always there. Colors just caught it on film before the rest of the world was paying attention. Colors was a major launching pad for Cheadle, who would become one of the most acclaimed and versatile actors of his generation. His career reached a new level in 2004 with his devastating lead performance in Hotel Rwanda, which earns him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. Around the same time, he co-produced Crash, which won the Oscar for Best Picture. To a whole new generation of fans, he's instantly recognizable as James Rhodey, War Machine in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A multi-talented artist, Cheadle has also directed the Miles Davis biopic Miles Ahead, and is a dedicated humanitarian. From Rocket to War Machine, Don Cheadle's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. María Conchita Alonso played Luisa Gomez. She was a strong, intelligent woman from the barrio caught between loyalty to her community and her complicated feelings for a cop who represented an occupying force. Alonso brought a fiery independence and vulnerability to the role, acting as the bridge between the two worlds of the film. And I think her role doesn't get enough credit in conversations about this movie. Everyone talks about Penn and Duvall. Everyone talks about the gang portrayals. But Luisa Gomez is the character who shows you what it actually costs to live in that world when you're not carrying a badge or a gun. She's the civilian. She's the one who has to keep living in the neighborhood after the cops leave and the gangs come back. Alonso played that weight beautifully.
Before Colors, Alonso was already a star in both the English and Spanish-speaking worlds, a former Miss World finalist with a successful music career who had just starred opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Running Man. After the film, she continued working steadily and in 1995 became the first Latin American actress not born in the United States to star in a Broadway musical when she played Aurora in Kiss of the Spider-Woman. Now 70, Alonso remains active in acting and music and is known for her outspoken political activism and her refusal to take on roles that negatively stereotype Latinos. She continues to be a vibrant and passionate force in the industry. Glenn Plummer played High Top, a young gang member whose intensity made him a standout, even in a film full of memorable characters. It was a major breakout role for Plummer, who has since built a resume with well over 100 credits, everything from blockbusters like Speed and The Day After Tomorrow to cult classics like South Central and Menace to Society. He continues to act prolifically in film and television. Plummer's one of those guys who makes everything he's in better, and Colors was where that started. And then there's Damon Wayans as the wisecracking gang member T-Bone. It was a small role, but honestly, even in a serious gang drama, you can feel the comedy radiating off this man. It's almost unfair how naturally funny he is. Just 2 years later, Wayans became a superstar as co-creator and star of the groundbreaking sketch show In Living Color. He went on to star in hit films like Major Payne and The Last Boy Scout, the beloved sitcom My Wife and Kids, and in 2024 starred alongside his son, Damon Wayans Jr., in the CBS sitcom Papa's House. Now, let's talk about the two performances that carry this film's deepest weight. Playing the seasoned, weary veteran to Penn's explosive rookie was the legendary Robert Duvall as Officer Bob Hodges. Uncle Bob was the film's moral compass, a man who understood that respect, not just force, was the key to survival on the streets. Duval brought a quiet authority and deep empathy to the role, a Vietnam vet just trying to make it to retirement with his soul intact. Now, here's something I want to point out. Dennis Hopper was incredibly smart with how he structured this film. You have to remember, in 1988, a movie centered entirely on Black and Hispanic gang life would have been dismissed by mainstream Hollywood audiences, unfairly written off as a blaxploitation film. By weaving in this brilliant dynamic between Duvall and Penn, Hopper gave white audiences a way into the story without ever compromising the reality of what was happening on those streets. The ability to market this movie with even a semblance of a traditional plotline while keeping it this raw and realistic, that was an achievement. And what makes Duvall's performance so essential is that he never phones it in, playing a man who knows the system he serves is broken but keeps showing up because he believes in something smaller and more personal than the institution. That kind of quiet, thankless heroism is the hardest thing to play, and Duvall made it look effortless. By the time Colors came out, Duvall was already an acting giant, an Oscar winner for Tender Mercies with iconic roles in The Godfather and Apocalypse Now under his belt. He went on to earn more Oscar nominations for The Apostle and The Judge, and became one of the most respected elders in the industry. Sadly, Robert Duvall passed away on February 15th of this year, at the age of 95, at his home in Virginia. Making this video, it hit me that Colors captures one of the last great stretches of his career where he was still playing lead roles, carrying films with that quiet, undeniable authority. He remains one of the greatest actors of all time. One of the most memorable performances in Colors came from Trinidad Silva as Leo Frog Lopez, a charismatic and influential Hispanic gang leader. Frog wasn't a one-dimensional villain. He was a kind of community leader, a man who commanded respect and navigated the complex politics of his neighborhood with a weary intelligence. Silva brought a magnetic authenticity to the role that made him a standout in a film packed with talent. Before Colors, Silva was a respected character actor known for his role on the acclaimed series Hill Street Blues. He was a trailblazer for Latino actors, consistently delivering nuanced performances that defied stereotypes. Colors was set to be his major breakthrough into film stardom. But in a story of unimaginable tragedy, Trinidad Silva would not live to see the film's full impact. On July 31st, 1988, just a few months after Colors hit theaters, a drunk driver ran a red light and slammed into Silva's truck. He was killed instantly. He was only 38 years old. He was in the middle of filming the Weird Al Yankovic comedy UHF, which had to be rewritten and was later dedicated to his memory. I keep coming back to the fact that he was 38, the same number of years that have passed since this film came out. And in that time, every other actor on this list went on to build decades of work, win awards, raise families, evolve. Trinidad Silva never got that chance. His powerful performance in Colors remains unforgettable. Tell me, did you see Colors in theaters back in '88, or did you discover it later? If this is the kind of deep dive you want more of, hit subscribe. Thank you for watching.